Imagine you've just checked your bank account and the number reads $1,047. Not because you just got paid, but because that money has been sitting there for 3 weeks and you simply haven't needed to touch it. It's not a large number by most standards, but something about seeing it there, stable, untouched, quietly accumulating, shifts something inside you. You make a different decision at the grocery store that afternoon. You don't rush to say yes to a side project you don't actually want. You sleep a little differently that night. And if you've ever experienced that feeling, even briefly, you already understand the central idea of this video without needing any further explanation. Because the first $1,000 you save doesn't just change your financial position, it changes the psychological lens through which every future money decision gets made. What most personal finance conversation focuses on is the arithmetic of saving, the percentage of income, the right account type, the interest rate. But the more interesting and less discussed phenomenon is what happens neurologically and behaviorally when a person crosses certain financial thresholds for the first time. The first $1,000 in savings is one of the most significant of those thresholds, not because of what it buys or what it earns, but because of what it interrupts. It interrupts a scarcity loop that, for many people, has been running continuously in the background of every financial decision they've ever made. Behavioral economists studying financial stress have found that the cognitive load of operating without a financial buffer is measurably significant. When your account balance is near zero, a portion of your mental bandwidth is perpetually allocated to low-level financial monitoring, calculating whether a purchase is safe, anticipating the next bill, modeling worst-case scenarios. This isn't a character flaw or a failure of discipline. It is a predictable, documented response to operating in a state of financial scarcity, and it consumes cognitive resources that would otherwise be available for longer-term planning and decision-making. The $1,000 figure is not arbitrary. It sits just above the cost of the most common financial emergencies that derail people who have no buffer: a car repair, a medical copay, a missed shift. Below that number, the financial system responds to unexpected events with debt. Above it, the same events get absorbed. That single mechanical difference, debt versus absorption, has a compounding effect on financial trajectory that most people never fully map out. A $600 car repair paid with a credit card at 22% interest, rolled over for 6 months while minimum payments are made, doesn't cost $600. It costs closer to $670, plus the behavioral cost of the stress it generates, plus the opportunity cost of the mental energy spent managing it. What changes at $1,000 is that the system begins, for the first time, to have slack. And slack, in any complex system, whether mechanical, biological, or financial, is what allows that system to absorb shocks without structural damage. A city with no water reserve becomes fragile the moment drought arrives. A supply chain with no inventory buffer breaks the moment one shipment is delayed. A personal financial system with no savings buffer converts every unexpected event into a crisis. And a life defined by recurring financial crises gradually reshapes the psychology of the person living it in ways that make the next crisis more likely, not less. The identity shift that happens around $1,000 is subtle, but real. People begin, for the first time, to think of themselves as someone who saves, not as a discipline, but as a fact. And that identity, once established, changes the reference point from which future decisions are made. You are no longer making decisions from zero. You are making decisions from a position of marginal stability. And marginal stability, it turns out, is enough to meaningfully alter behavior. The goal of understanding this isn't to suggest that $1,000 solves anything at a systemic level. It doesn't. But it does mark the beginning of a different relationship with money. One where the financial system you're operating in starts working with you in small but measurable ways, rather than consistently against you.